Okay, unboxing done, let's go use the thing. To try out the EOS M6, Canon's latest iteration of their mirrorless camera lineup, I went to Metz, a town in France near the Luxembourgish border. I also used Peak Design's everyday backpack for the first time, which I'll make a review of in the future if you're interested. Let me know in the comments. Now, despite the name, the M6 is not the M5's successor, but more like a twin brother with a slightly different face. While the M5 has a bump for the electronic viewfinder on top, the M6 has no viewfinder at all, making it a little smaller. Also, the screen swivels a little bit down and all the way up on the M6 instead of all the way down as it's the case on the M5, which makes the M6 easier to use for vloggers or video creators who want to use the screen in selfie mode while having a tripod or some kind of grip mounted to the camera. And that seems to be the general premise of the M6. It seems as if it's supposed to be more of a video shooter than a photography tool, which is fine by me as that's the reason why I bought it anyway. If photos are your priority, however, it gets a little bit more difficult. Don't get me wrong, the APS-C-sized sensor delivers gorgeous 24.2 megapixel files that are rich in detail and can without a doubt keep up with the files of any other Canon APS-C camera, but you need to work a little harder to get them in the first place. The autofocus, which works great in video mode, just doesn't cut it for me when it comes to taking pictures on the streets. As soon as a little bit of movement is involved, either the camera or the subject is moving, I just can't seem to get any proper shots. The system is clunky, slow and simply not precise. It can't handle low contrast or low light situations. Even in direct sunlight it sometimes hunts around and made me miss so many shots that I frankly can't recommend it for street shooting. That being said though, if you're a landscape or still life photographer you probably won't have any issues with this. Except perhaps the missing viewfinder when you're shooting in the sun, although you can buy one that will sit on the hot shoe of the camera. Which would lead me to ask you why you haven't bought the M5 instead. But if I'm really honest, if you buy this camera to have a small, high quality APS-C photo camera, you should probably buy a Fuji or a Sony for a similar price. Those guys have way more experience and honestly more matured mirrorless camera options than Canon do. The only people I see getting a Canon M for photos are those who already have a Canon DSLR and some of their awesome glass and want to use it with a smaller body. The adaptation of EF and EFS lenses to EFM mount works flawlessly. I didn't see any difference between using the EFM 15 to 45mm kit lens and any adapted lenses I used with it, for better or for worse. Luckily though, the video side of things is quite a different story. This is where the dual pixel autofocus system shines, with native as well as adapted EF and EFS lenses. There's a microphone jack too, and except for the sadly missing headphone jack and the fact that there's no all-eye video codec, this is basically a tiny Canon ATD. It's just as easy to use and has virtually the same sensor and quality, while being way lighter, but of course also a lot less protected against weather or bumps. Exposure compensation and direct access to all your basic settings over the dials and the quick menu are fast and intuitive. The touchscreen helps to navigate even quicker and also enables beautiful focus pulls that would be hard to do manually. Battery life is pretty impressive considering its small size. Internal sound is good enough in many situations, but with a microphone and a mini tripod mounted, this camera in my opinion is a really great choice for vloggers. But of course, and how could it be otherwise, there's a catch. I don't know why, but Canon decide time and time again not to live in the 4K age. Even the newest full-frame body, the 6D Mark II, which could have been every content creator's wet dream as a great photo and video shooter, only does 1080p. And of course, the latest M cameras are no exception here. It sometimes feels as if they are decidedly against any form of innovation or progress. Little helpful features like zebras or at the very least audio level monitoring that I can only see on the info screen and not while shooting are intentionally omitted from their low-end cameras, perhaps because they fear this would damage sales of their high-end bodies. They still deliver solid, reliable, easy to use and robust cameras, but come on, it's 2017. 1080p at 60 frames a second is fine, and at this point it's still what I'm using for this channel. But I can't help but look at the competition and be a little envious at all the nice things their users get to fiddle with. I'm looking at you, Sony and Panasonic. The reason I still bought it are it's small, reliable, and it's a Canon. This means it works great with my Canon glass and in conjunction with the 70D that I still use as a second shooter for video, as the M6 in that regard is superior in every single way, except perhaps for the screen that flips out sideways on the 70D, which I still prefer. Why should you buy it? For the same reasons, I guess. You want a small camera that delivers great photos and video, and you don't care about 4K video and fast and reliable autofocus for your photography. When it comes to photos, I'm sorry, but I just simply prefer my Fujifilm cameras for so many reasons. If you liked this video, please subscribe and join the Photonauts community. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and see you in the next one. Bye!